Hello and welcome to Nature Talk News, brought to you by James, aka Hiker James, from the Sunshine State of Southwest Florida. Where there's nature, there's news. Hello again and welcome to our outdoor RV studio here in Southwest Florida. Today we are going to bring up some information here that we've found, and it is from the Von Arx Wildlife Hospital. They have had 74 animals admitted this week into the hospital. They had a white-tailed deer fawn and an evening bat were among the 74 admitted to the Von Arx Wildlife Hospital at the Conservancy of Southwest Florida this week. Other admissions include a great egret, a red-shouldered hawk, 2 chimney swifts, 11 possums, and 2 Florida box turtles. The first one that was interesting was day 1, and they had found a fawn on the golf course. The fawn was admitted after it had found nestled in an area on a golf course where Roundup was being sprayed. Herbicide partially coated the fawn, although the people tried to avoid spraying it. It was late in the evening when the fawn arrived at the Von Arx Wildlife Hospital. Our staff vet admitted the fawn and performed a physical exam. Along with hospital staff, she cleaned the remaining herbicide off the fawn and was able to bottle feed him a bit of deer milk replacement formula and settled in for the night. Since we couldn't be sure how much herbicide the fawn might have ingested by licking itself before the Roundup was washed off, our vet consulted with medical professionals regarding recommended treatments for herbicide ingestion. She also researched potential side effects that could be caused by ingesting or inhaling this specific herbicide. Day 2, the following morning, the fawn was alert and responsive, so we were hopeful the amount of herbicide possibly ingested was minimal. Our hope changed instantly when the fawn defecated and its feces were coated in blood. The fawn was kept in the intensive care area of the hospital and its condition was monitored closely. The fawn was evaluated a second time that morning, during which it expelled a large amount of blood. The bleeding indicated intestinal upset. Herbal supplements were given to address the bleeding, and every precaution was taken to minimize stress on the fawn. The fawn's condition deteriorated throughout the day, so our vet and staff continued to adjust the treatment plan. Finally, by 10 p.m., the treatments were administered, showed the results we were working toward. The fawn was alert and responsive, but resting quietly. Day 3, off to the East Coast. The following day, the fawn was bright, alert, and responsive with only a minimal amount of bleeding. At this point, we contacted a wildlife rehabilitator on the east coast of Florida who specializes in white-tailed deer rehab. She had 3 other fawns and was more than happy to accept our fawn. Wildlife Hospital volunteers transported the fawn to the facility on the other coast, where it will continue through the rehab process. With almost all species of wildlife, it is never optimal to raise a single orphan by itself. Babies of any species thrive both physically, emotionally, and behaviorally when they have a litter mate or conspecific to interact with. The Von Arx Wildlife Hospital at the Conservancy has a great network with other centers in Florida and will often transfer or accept wild orphan babies to avoid raising any orphan by itself. Some other interesting news that I've found, and here in Florida we have a lot of panthers, and we have a lot of panther crossing signs, just like everywhere else would have a deer crossing sign. And I thought that was unusual, and it was, exciting to go down the road and see so many panther crossing signs. But I ran across here where they have turtle crossing signs also. Turtle crossing area. Caution, slow down. And that just amazes me. And the title of this one is Help a Turtle Cross the Road. We'll show you how. Okay, soft shell injured while crossing the road. The staff at the Von Arx Wildlife Hospital received a call from a motorist on the Golden Gate Parkway reporting a large turtle attempting to cross the road. The caller did not stop but hoped we could go rescue the turtle. Typically, the staff is too busy in the hospital caring for patients, but it was early afternoon and we were about to finish with our morning medical treatments, so we were able to respond. However, we didn't have much hope for that would get to the turtle in time, simply because the roads are so treacherous for turtles. By the time we got on the scene, the turtle had been hit. Although injured and bleeding, it was walking south toward the parking lot at the Gordon River Greenway. Several pedestrians had stopped and were observing the turtle. One person actually on the phone calling the Conservancy for help. We quickly covered the turtle in a towel, placed it in a transport box, and returned to the Von Arx Wildlife Hospital. Although the turtle shell was fractured along the middle part of its carapace and had road rash on its plastron, it was alert and active. Staff administrators administered antibiotics and pain medication and placed the turtle in a reptile room at the hospital for further observations. So there you go. I mean, there is so many animals here in Florida, and especially Southwest Florida, that the people are caring people and want to try to treat any animal that's been hit or injured in any way. They released a king snake. The scarlet king snake was found wrapped around the basket filter of a swimming pool. The homeowner thought the snake looked uninjured, but brought it in for evaluation just to be safe. The snake became very active and defensive when the staff personnel performed a physical exam. It was determined to be in good health, so the homeowner willingly returned it to its property for release. We were incredibly grateful. The homeowner understood the value of snakes to the environment and was willing to offer assistance. Wow. Squirrels. Let's see, what else did we have in here? There's a number of animals that are brought into the hospital. Birds, pelicans. This is just a list and list and list. Screech owlets, renested. Birds that are tangled in fishing line. Possums. Tern swallows hooked on a large fish attached to it. Bald eagle released after weeks of treatment. That was a good story too. Fishing gear severely injures black racer. Pelicans get into disposal tubes, and on and on and on. Bobcat severely injured. And then it's got a little article here about please never care for wildlife at home. Volunteer renest great hornet owl. And it's just amazing how much care goes into these animals down here. I know coming from Ohio, I hunted a lot, and once I moved down here to Florida, it was totally turned around. I mean, you even talk about taking a gun outside and people get all offensive over it because they don't want to hurt any animals. There's so many laws protecting them that like I said, this Von Arx Hospital takes in lots and lots of animals every day, and I'll bring that up here in just a second and let you know what it is that they have for their hospital. Here it is. Okay, Conservancy of Southwest Florida, our water, land, wildlife future. And it says, providing medical care to injured wildlife has been a priority of the Conservancy of Southwest Florida since 1979. Caring citizens rescue bobcats, deer, pelicans, herons, gopher tortoises, and many other species of nature animals and drop them off at the Conservancy for treatment. The wildlife rehabilitation team and a group of dedicated volunteers provide supportive care with the goal of releasing as many patients as possible back to their natural habitats. The original Conservancy Wildlife Rehabilitation Clinic was originally built to handle 500 injured and orphaned animals, but was actually treating over 3,000 animals per year at an annual cost in excess of $300,000. The new 5,000 square foot Sharon and Dolph Van Ark's Wildlife Hospital at Conservancy of Southwest Florida is now open and includes an intake room for diagnosis and triage, special treatment area, and a sterile surgery room. 2 wildlife babies program are also conducted daily in the nursing area of the Wildlife Hospital. Guests to the Von Ark Wildlife Hospital can also visit the viewing window, where they will be able to watch the staff provide care for the animals. Wow, that's amazing that people have taken that much time with volunteers and such to get together and take care of these animals. So we thought that might be a little interesting there, and we have other stories that we are updated with here. Like I say, I haven't found out yet if it was daily or weekly updates that they have on these animals. You never go anywhere, like right here in the yard. You know, we have 3 different types of woodpeckers. We have the squirrels. Now, squirrels are small. Back in Ohio, now don't go telling everybody this, but back in Ohio, 1 squirrel would make a meal. But down here in Florida, I haven't seen anything big enough to. It would take 3 or 4 squirrels here to make 1 meal. And I like squirrel, but since I've been here in Florida, it's not a challenge. It doesn't even sound good to want to go out there and shoot one of these animals. We have a squirrel that comes up and eats the bird feed, and the bird feeders are being taken over by blackbirds, but we don't know how to separate the blackbirds from the rest of them. So we're working on that right now to see what we can do with that. We have the blue jays that land on these feeders, the woodpeckers. We even have affiliated woodpeckers down here, and these are huge woodpeckers. And if you ever get a chance to look up the affiliated woodpecker, and then look up just the regular woodpecker and notice the difference in the size of the 2. There's what they say, a difference between day and night. So it's the same thing. Now you can hear in the background, you can hear the birds out here. And like I said, we're surrounded by trees. Pine trees, palm trees, oak trees. Actually, I am about 40 feet from an oak tree, and that's where we have our bird feeders, and we have a bird bath, and we have ivy vines. There's some ivy vines. It's not poison ivy. We wouldn't have that. But there are ivy vines that's growing up 2 of the oak trees. And the thing about the ivy vines is that they start out and growing up the tree, and the farther up they get, the bigger the leaves are. And this other tree's got some vines starting to grow on it, but they're very small. The little acorns and stuff falling off the trees, that gives the squirrels some food to eat when they're not into the bird feeders. I'm going to have to try to put some kind of a little clamp on the bird feeder, because the squirrels will get up there on top of it and raise the lid off of it and stick their head down in there and eat the bird feed. So we got those little corn holders. I don't know if you're familiar with those or not. They're just a little spiral wire that the top unhooks, and you could drop a whole ear of corn into it, and hang it in a tree. And the squirrels will hang from the limb upside down by their feet to reach that corn. And they'll sit there, and that ear of corn will be gone in about 2 days. So they're really into that corn and acorn stuff. Of course, you know, that's what squirrels do. My wife and I went to the beach the other day, and we went early. We went for a sunset, and we went early to take some pictures of the birds and whatever we could find down there. We like to take pictures of the sail ships and the pier. They've got a pier down here called Naples Pier. There was some sand crabs, and if you ever watch a sand crab, they are amazing at the speed that they can walk or move. They will dig a hole in the sand, and when they get down to where, you know, they're kind of like a dog, you know, they kind of start digging a hole. But when they get to where they're down under the sand, they eat the sand up. This is what we're assuming they're doing, because it looks awful funny that they're down in the hole for a little while, and then they come back out, and they'll move about a foot away, and you can see sand spraying out on the ground. So we're thinking that they're eating that sand and then coming out and spraying it on the ground so they can dig a little bit deeper. Those things are so fast. I mean, when they come out of that hole, it's almost like they just jump from one place to another, but they're actually crawling. And if you watch them close enough, you can watch their little legs just, you know. It was amazing. We did get a picture of one that was almost all the way out of the hole, but we couldn't get a picture of one while it was on top of the sand because they were so fast. Next time we go to the beach, I'm going to take my cam recorder and I'll record that and actually see, and maybe I can slow that down to slow motion to where we can get a good view of it, and I'll post that somewhere where we can let you know where you can go to watch this. But we was there, the sunset was about 8:25 that day, and we went at 6 o'clock so we could get these extra pictures. So we took our lawn chairs and we sat out there on the beach, had us some pop to drink, and watching the sail ships and the yachts and different things. There were some people out there in their kayaks. They would paddle out pretty far and then turn around and come back. Now, I don't know. They're bobbing up and down in the water with the waves coming in, and you would think that they'd go under and capsize, but they keep bobbing back up and paddling on. One fella, him and his wife came out there, and they had a big cooler, and they had some big fishing poles and a kayak. And what this fellow did was he had a piece of PVC pipe, probably about 5 foot tall, and he'd cut the bottom on an angle to where it would be sharp, and he started digging a hole in the sand, in the wet part of the sand, and then when he gouged that thing down in there just as tight as he could get it, and then took his foot and packed around it to make it good and tight, and then he set his fishing pole up in it, straight up in it. Then he got him some bait, and this bait, it was a huge chunk of something, I don't know what. I didn't want to walk over there and ask him what he was using, because I figured, you know, he might not want to talk, but I wished I had of. So anyway, he gets this bait and he baits it onto his hook, and he gets his kayak and he attaches the line to his kayak, and off he goes straight out into the ocean. And I know a block away, he was at least a city block away, and he finally dropped the bait down in the water, and as he was coming back onto the shore, his wife was taking up the tension in the line, and then they set the drag on it. And it's amazing. I wish we could have stayed to see if he'd have caught anything, but he just got that set up. Oh, it was about 20 till 9, and we were tired already from sitting there for 2.5 hours. So we just up and left. But I wish that we could have stayed there long enough to see if he was going to get a good bite or even pull one in. And that time of day, the sun's down and the wind's blowing in from the ocean. It feels nice and cool. And they just set up their lawn chairs and had their little pop to drink, and it was amazing. Learn a lot down here in Florida. Just have to get out and check everything out. There's my wife now. She come out, and maybe we can get her to say a little bit about that beach thing. Hello.
Don't be funny.
Huh?
Don't be funny.
Why? You don't want to talk about the beach?
What can I talk about? There was no sunset.
Yeah, I didn't tell him that.
Well, there was. It was just hidden behind the clouds.
Yeah, all that 2.5 hours we sat down there and did not get a sunset.
No, but I got some birds.
Yeah, I was telling about the birds and the sand crab and
Yeah, I like the sand crab.
the
Guy on the kayak.
kayak and the sailboat.
And the big, expensive luxury, I guess you could say, ship. Looked like it was a yacht.
Yeah, it was a small yacht, but it was huge.
It was small, but to us it was very huge.
Oh, yeah. And I can't imagine being on one of those, because if you notice, the sail ship was swaying back and forth and the kayak was bobbing up and down. And here's this yacht that's sitting still like it's not even touching the water.
Oh, it was so awesome looking, though. How about the beach houses? Whoa.
Beach houses, man, I'll tell you what. Yeah, if you want to see a nice, we call mansions.
You could live 20 families in those things.
Oh yeah,
They're
easy.
huge.
Yeah, and you never see anybody at home. They've got indoor. They got all around windows and they can sit indoors and look out the beach.
And good security systems because they're so huge.
Wow, all these houses that got gates and fences around, if not the hedges. You can't even see through the hedges.
I think the house we lived in before, we probably could have put 10 of them or 11 of them inside one of those.
Oh yeah, easy.
Plus room to spare.
Yeah.
Those things are huge.
But the beaches down here, they're a little bit different as far as finding a place to park too. You can park at the meters and pay, or you can buy, not buy, but if you're a resident of Florida, of that county, you can buy a beach pass.
You get a free beach pass if you're a resident.
It's a sticker you put on your windshield.
Lasts all year.
Yeah, it lasts all year and they're free. But if you're not a resident of Florida, you have to buy them, and I don't remember how much it was they said for buying one, but if you're a resident or if you own property or anything like that, you can get that free
beach sticker.
Yeah.
I wish we lived closer to the beach, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, that about did it for today's show, and we're going to get out of here, and hope everybody enjoyed it, and listen to you next week.
And don't forget to tell them about the sea turtle nest we saw.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. I'm out of time, but sea turtle nest is next week. So until then, see ya.